how to apply for permanent residency if you have been recognized as a conventional refugee and you have your notice of decision ready. So you're excited to apply for permanent residency or PR in Canada and you don't know how to do this. Well, to help a lot of my friends, by the way, I'm not a lawyer or I'm not an attorney, but could be a good assistant at this time for you. So once you got your notice of decisions and you've been found yourself, you're a conventional refugee or you are protected person, you're ready to apply for permanent residency or PR through the portal. Now, this video is not for people who are international students or they've come with a free work permit or any work permit. It's only for conventional refugees or protected person. So once let's get back. So once you're having your permanent residency, once you have your notice of decision. Once you have your notice of decisions, you're ready to apply for permanent residency through the portal. Now it has a portal, so you have to sign up and really go through. We will go and walk you through that portal so you don't need to worry about it. But here are things you need to know before signing up or registration on the portal. First, you have to wait for the copy, the original. Worst case scenario, if you didn't get it still, it's fine. You still have the PDF of notice of decision. That works fine. Based on what I really read and what I did on all of that, I found out. But it would be a best practice to upload later on your notice of decisions with a stamp of original copy. If not, it is still okay. Not a big deal. And that's what I found, and that's what I experienced, and that's what I heard, found out, heard a lot of that, and exchanged information over good people. Your documents, this is the second thing, your documents, including any proof of your education, like nationality, all of that should be translated to English. If not, there will be later on some delays. So they would still contact you and they'll ask you information and you need to wait for that and it'll take a little time. So make sure you do have your copies translated in English. Third, if you have lived in somewhere like a country more than 6 months, not in Canada, but anywhere else except your own country of origin, if you lived more than 6 months, you have to have your background check or police certificate. That's what you need to have to obtain before getting or applying to permanent residency. Now, if you don't have it already, and it's a little bit time consuming for you, it is still fine to apply without the police certificate because you need to wait, and once you get it, you can then send them through the IRCC web form. Or if they ask for it, you can still send. Now, all of these things matter, like proof of education, work experience, where did you travel, all of that information. We will walk you through the portal, and you will really eventually understand the whole point, including the fee, what forms you need to fill up, and if you have dependents, what you do. If you don't have but dependents, what you're going to do. We're going to answer all the questions through the form. Before that, we have a checklist. The checklist is super important. Using the checklist, we can enable ourselves to fill up the forms and to do it the right way. Doing it the right way will cost you nothing, but it will help the caseworker to really fasten your work and to speed it up everything. So we want everything to be cleaned, organized, and quality. All of that matters. All right, I think we are all ready. So notice decisions, documents translated, you have your documents scanned, already in one organized folder. We will teach you how to really organize stuff in the folder of your computer so you can really find out quickly, and renaming them at the proper format and all of that, and including the checklist and photos and all of that. We will help you what kind of photos to find out, where you get your photos, so it can be verified by the IRCC. and all of that. So we will walk you through the form and portal and all of that real work in the computer. All right, so let's jump in. No worries. All right, so enough of talks. Let's really jump in on how you can apply for permanent residency if you're found, and if you are protected person or conventional refugee. Now, the very first thing you need to do is really, we're gonna walk through everything. Like it's gonna take a long time, and you can expect a long time because it's something an important application. And I will give you out all my reasonings and experience and all of that behind it. So no worries, all settled down. Let's jump in. So PR, first thing first, PR, like permanent residency, has a portal. Same thing, like whenever you were an asylum seeker, you applied for, you really applied for like asylum seeker like application or like portal stuff like that. They had portal, and PR has portal too. So we're gonna say PR portal. You can just Google it, like PR portal. That's the key, and this will give you and will get you the page of permanent residency portal. Of course, you can memorize this and type it out, and it'll give you the same result. But it would be it'll easy to go to as if you type PR portal. So once we are there, we need to have our account ready. This is now, by the way, this is completely different with GCKey, so you need to have a different username and password. They won't work with this if you knew about GCKey. We're going to create an account using this little button, and we're going to make sure that it's right. It's a correct email address, and we have access to. So for now, mine is, I will copy and paste to save time. Mine is James Bond. All right, so we're going to type that out. Now the password is something, I'm going to choose something on my own. The password should meet the following expectation. So we're going to say, and now I'm going to copy and paste somewhere, so we need to have access to that. So let me do it. Oops, sorry, I apologize for that. So we're going to say copy, and I'm going to paste. So all check, and we're going to say create an account. Now we will get email through our email address. So it would be just an email address with the code. You got to go and open your email address or inbox, and you'll just type it out. And you're going to say complete registration. Now you are a registered PR permanent residency over here, and you just need to log in, and I'm going to type the password. If I'm doing it so fast, don't worry about it. Let me see what I did over here with my password. So, all right, I think I'm going to do it over here, paste it. That will help. Now this is your permanent residency. The first thing you need to do is create an application. Whenever you're applying for permanent residency through conventional refugee or protected person, same thing, same stuff. So in here, you're going to say permanent residency including refugee settlement. You're not this, you're the first one. And now we're going to go program under you're applying for. We're going to say refugee. And then the category should be in Canada protected person. Now this only applies to people who are in Canada and they've been known, or they've been like found themselves as protected person. They have their notice of decision ready. You have similar options as well, so just find out what you need. The name doesn't matter, so we're gonna say my PR or whatever. You can just type it out. You're going to type out your language of correspondence, which I'm I'm going to say English. I'm going to say the family name, the Bond and James. I know I'm using a fake name, but okay, why should not I use a fake name? The date of birth should be, let's say, 1995. 0707. I'm going to copy this for reference later on. I'm going to say the apartment number. So we don't have the apartment number. Let's say apartment number is something 33. 33 Bond Street. Street name. There's no street name. So there is street name. We're going to copy and paste. Oops, no. Bond Street. This is a little bit awkward, but okay. It's this Toronto. Oh, no. So I'm going to copy and paste it. So to make sure we are typing it right, the minimum thing to do. Select the country, of course, Canada. Province should be, let's see, Ontario. Postal code is going to be like T5A, T5, T2A. Now it says valid, so we're going to follow this. We're going to exactly copy that. A1A, 1AA. So yes, same thing. Now this is your information. Now if you're single, you're not living with your dependents. If you're living with your spouse or partner or dependents, you need to add it over here. And once you add it over here, let me go through it. Now this is a little bit tricky for most people to distinguish what they need to do. Once you're filled up your information, you need to go through your spouse or dependent information, someone relying on you. So the very first question is the dependent accompanying you? That means if let's say if she is outside Canada and you're inside Canada, you're in Canada and she is not in Canada. So you would still say yes because you want to bring her or bring him to Canada. So that would be yes. Now double check this. Double check. It's important. So if you say no, that means it is your dependent. He or she is your dependent, but she won't live with you. She is not accompanying you, whatever. All right. So, and you should say yes. So I'm going to say yes. And then you're going to say choose or whatever. You're going to select spouse and family and given and all of that. So to make sure that you're really like on the page, you can always Google and paste this over here, and you can see that a lot of people searched it already. So on here, you would find out is dependent, and you would say the family, like a spouse, partner, stuff like that. Now in here, it means like immigrating, intends to immigrate to Canada. So that's the very first thing. If you choose yes, that will be immigrating to Canada as well with you. Now, at the time that you get your permanent residency, she or he will get permanent residency as well through through Canadian's embassy. This is my thoughts, and I'm not a lawyer, by the way, so this is what I found out to be true. Now, I'm going to say cancel because we don't have dependents. We're going to make this tutorial very short, try to make it shorter, but you got the concept of dependents, right? Let me know if you didn't get it on the comments. So we're going to say save and continue. We don't save the address. Now, this is your complete list of what you need to do. The form of generic application, family member form, which is 5406, background check, that is Schedule A, and then supplementary information. Then we're going to go to Schedule 14, which we will go through this form as well. And then the checklist. And then we're going to go to additional form if you have it, and then the photo. And then we're going to go to fee payment. And once all is checked, once everything is checked mark, you're going to declare that every information you've provided is right and is correct and complete. That's the important part. Let me go through the checklist and talk a little bit on things we need to do before applying on really a permanent residency. So before and after, once you're filling the application, particularly after, you're going to check mark forms that you filled, right? So we're going to go with this is the very first form, the generic we did. Now dependents, if you have someone like living with you or trying to live with you, that one that I pointed out right at the over here, I was talking about that, the dependence. It was really stressed, that thing. So if you had you're a man and you have a wife, but she is not here with you, so you need to check mark this and fill up the form IM0008, that one, and it'll be once you say I have a dependent, the form will jump right in here for you, and it'll be added as well on your profile. So there will be a more file to be added in the application forms. You will have an option of form 008 dependent, right? So you don't need to worry about it. So you're going to fill up this, and there will be another one as well, which you need to give a generic information about her or him as well. So most single people don't have it. So we're going to go protected person, conventional refugee. This is the schedule 14. The schedule A. We'll take a look at all of these forms to see what we're really filling up. Additional family information and use of representative. If you have a lawyer or someone like attorney working on your application, you need to check mark this. So let's assume I am a single person, do not have any dependents. So we would check mark all these options, including the checklist. A photocopy of all your identity and relationship documents. We are going to do that. A translation for every identity relationship document, which is in a language other than. So this is important too. You need to make sure that everything is translated and ready, either in French or English. English would be nice. So there are a lot of websites if you do not have your documents ready, particularly Emma Translate. I think I had the website. It would be right. No. Emma Translate Agency. So there are going to be a lot of this is a wrong search, by the way. This one is something I have used so far. It's really good, human translators, but backed with artificial intelligence. You have another one as well. The notary should accept it and approve it. There's a lot if you just search professional certified translation service. There will be a lot if you are not having this, or you can go to your local notary or local organization. They might help you as well. Now the two passport size photo of your family as well, and a photocopy, a letter of immigration, like, yeah, you've been found as to be protected person, all right. And then a temporary residency, like work permit or even the refugee protected, like refugee claiming document, that would still work, which is very famous with brown paper. And fee receipt. Once you check mark all this option, the necessary one, you're going to sign up. You're going to print this and you're going to sign right over here. You're going to sign right over here and you're going to write the date. So pretty easy, not too fancy. This is the easiest form you could ever fill up. That's the checklist. We will not start with these forms yet, so we're going to take care of these first, okay? The schedule 14. Now this needs an Adobe Reader, so we're going to need an Adobe Reader for that. Sure, we're going to open it, and that would take a little bit of time, which is fine. Still, it opens through my open with the system viewer. So as you can see, we are pretty much pretty much famous form. You're gonna type out your full name, just family name over here, and then your first name, your client ID, date of birth. Now, mostly for protected person, this is no and no and no and no and no, all of that no. But you have to read it. So have you been granted permanent residency in Canada? Well, no, because if you've been found, you wouldn't apply for this. And if you are found or recognized other than Canada as a conventional refugee, you would say yes, and you would give your reason on why. And then can you return to that country? You would say yes or no. Now this will, most people won't ask for asylum if they are living like somewhere else, right? They will come and get to Canada and ask asylum over here. But it depends on your personal life history. So are you a citizen or national of more than one country? If yes, what countries? Which mostly I said no. Are you a legal or permanent residency of any country? You would say no, because you're not anymore. Once you ask the asylum, you're not, except the country of your own citizenship, which you are not safe there anymore. Can you return to that country? Once you check mark the following questions, mostly it is yes, but you would really, what you've provided before, through that given information, you gotta check mark all this thing. So your signature and date of completion, and then you can print this and you can sign it right over here. That would be better. And you scan it. That's the most important. Don't scan it with phones. That would be a little bit low quality, but scan it with something better. Once you print and sign all of this and scan it, now here's a better way of managing these on something. You need something to manage it, right? You need to store it professionally, at least. So we completed this form and we signed and we scanned. Now we are gonna store them professionally or accurately, like on how to find it and how to really easily like find it and upload it. So I would create 3 folders. One would be your own country. So let's say like it would be your own country. Let's say I'm gonna say home country. You can type your own country, and then you're gonna say Canada, and then you're gonna say MISC or any MISL documents. So this is part of the form of Canada. So you're gonna upload it right over here. Now on what names? Now let me create a new PDF or something in here to really like touch base on that. Let me say I'm gonna create an image. All right. Now don't create an image. Of course, make it PDF using Adobe Reader or just online. What type of naming should you use? That's very important for the application. Now, if you go to the bottom of the form document labeling, they have already given you a hint on what you can really how to rename it. I've already copied that and pasted it. Now you're gonna type your last name, your first name, and document type, which this was form 008, schedule 14. And then you're gonna type its number. That's how you can store all this documents right here. Just like that. And then labeling would work as well. So the same thing with photos. However, the same thing. However, there might be a little bit of different names sometimes, like that as well. But what I found out that I've used this one and I have never been with any issue. So therefore, it would be better to use this one. Although you can use this one as they told you to use as well, which is fine. Now let's go through the form. This too is the easiest one. That's why we really went through at the first point. Now I'm not gonna fill up my information or somebody's information, but I'm gonna just talk about on actually how to fill it up. All right. So corresponding English, that would be English. I'm gonna interview with English, let's say, and then no, the interpreter requested no. We don't really need. And which city do you live? We're gonna say Ontario, and then we're gonna say city like Toronto or something like that. Something Toronto. So we chosen Toronto. In here, basically, it's generating information of your language and where do you live. That's it. Not something crazy. Same thing with your name. Have you used any other name than James Bond, which I didn't? Same thing with your UCI. And then your physical character, we're going to say male. We're going to say blue, your height, let's say 185, tallest guy. And then place of birth, let's say Bond, whatever. And then the country of birth, we're going to say, let's assume we're going to be from Cameroon, right? We don't have a Cameroon citizenship. You can choose in any, at this point I can choose in any country, so I don't have any other. And we're going to say Canada, as I am residency of Canada right over here, protected person. And date of entry, we're going to say 2022, just a number. We're going to say QC, Quebec. Now let me go through again. So basically it's your name, it's personal details, your name, and if you have ever used any other name, UCI, which we just leave it as it is. We don't have it, let's say. But you gotta type it out. You have already UCI. So because it's not a star, I'm just teaching you on how to fill up the form. That's why I don't need to really type it out. And same thing, the birth information and citizenship. If you have any other, I assume you don't. Last time you entered to Canada. And now if you ever lived more than 6 months. Now this is a tricky question. If you say I've lived 6 months, more than 6 months in a country before, you need a background check. You need a police certificate. So if you say yes, you should already find out and search how you can really get your police certificate. Now, if you say no, you don't need it because you didn't live 6 months. You lived less than 6 months. If you have been in a relationship before, the current status would be, of course, no. But if you are previously in a relationship, once you're like married, you can't be single. You know that, right? So if you say single, that means you have never been in a relationship. So it'll automatically be chosen no. But if you say I was divorced, it'll be yes. So you need to give your previous spouse or common law partner. So let's assume we're going to be single. That's it. So we're going to go save and continue. Same thing with your address. If you have a phone address or something, and we're going to say yes. If you have, of course, you have your phone number with you. So you're going to type cellular and country code and number, which we don't need to do this right away as we're filling the form. We just want to take less time. Do you have a valid passport? Now, if your passport is expired, you don't need to say that. So you don't need to say yes because it's not valid. But if you have a copy of your passport, which is still valid, you need to say yes and provide all details. Let's assume we have an expired travel document or passport. Same thing with the national identity, which most people have it. If you say yes, you can just type it out, the information, and some national identity don't have an expiry date. So you're going to just type like those kind of dates. Something like it means like forever. Let's assume we don't have it. So we're going to say save and continue. The highest level of education you're going to provide, let's say bachelor, we have said 4 years. We're going to say Wilder. Let's say I'm going to say I'm Wilder, and I still want to be Wilder. This is the easy part, the easy form. Native language, mother tongue, stuff like that. So we're going to say Arabic and English. Yes. So we're going to say yes because we have taken tests at some designated place or agency. That's it. And now we're going to come at the dependents, which you don't have dependents. If you had dependents, you need to do the same thing for, like, let's say if you had a wife or a child, you needed to fill up all this information for him or her as well. If he or she was your dependent, of course. If not really, you didn't need it. You just needed to mention That's it. But mostly your spouse and your child or children is your dependent, so you need to do that, except your brother or sister is not your dependent in some cases. So that's it. So we complete and return. Once it's checked mark, ready to submit, as we can see we filled up wrong information or something that we are for the purpose of training, all right? Additional family information, which is usually includes parents, children, spouse, and siblings. At all this four, you need to provide information. Now, if you had a wife, your name would be at the bottom of this. You needed to fill up all this information for her. If you had a husband, same thing. 2 names would pop up over here. So we're going to say edit. Section A, as you can see, is just your information, like applicant, stuff like that. You need to provide an accurate address, including city and country and territory, email address, and all of that. If you're not married, so you're going to say none. Your mother as well over here, and your father, and you're going to say continue. Same thing. Now, child, if you don't have child, you're going to type out not applicable. You need to type all his or theirs or her name in your native language as well. That is very stressed over here. So you need to type his name or her name and then type it on your native language. Now you're going to repeat and add another, and another. That really repeats and over. If you have siblings, same thing. You need to write in your native language. Of course, first English and then your native language. Once you're done with this form, you're going to go to the next form. This is a little bit difficult form. This part includes your education, membership, government, and address, stuff like that. Again, if you had a dependent, that would be right over here. So personal details, your name on your own native language would be over here. And again, your father details, if he or she is deceased, type the date, town, and all of that. Same thing with mother. We're going to hit continue. Now this is questionnaire, most of them and most of the time it's no. But if some of it is like one of it is yes, or 2 of them, or how many doesn't matter, you're going to say yes, and then you're going to provide a detail. So to avoid the confusion. So we're going to say no. Education, you're going to go with the elementary, primary, secondary, university, and or trade if you have studied. You're going to give the exact date. If it's not enough, add another. These are pretty straightforward. Same thing with your address. If you were employed, if you're traveling, retired student, whatever, do it over here. Now, it starts with the most recent information. So start with today and leave the 2 blank. Like if you're a student or if you're working, so leave the 2 blank because you are still doing that activity. But start with the most recent. So don't start with the oldest. Save and continue. The membership, if you have it. If you don't, just type none. Same thing with military and government. Military again. Now, if this was not enough, sometimes the RCC might ask you more explanation. So what you need to do and you need to fill up is you're going to say military form for PR Canada. You're going to type out. So you're going to fill up this form again. This form will give you more room to explain what you were doing. It's a little bit tricky form, but I'm going to just go over it quickly. But as you might really need it. So this basically includes start date, end date, and the concept, or the volunteer, or what type of service was it, the organization, rank, title, and all of that. So this is basically a complete form of giving information, unnecessary information, to the client, to the caseworker, or to the agent, authorized agent. So if this was not enough, still, now to make sure that they get it, so I would fill up this one and that form as well. So 2 things. The same thing with your address over past 10 years, or if you're little like 23, since your 18th birthday. Same thing, start with the most recent. That would be nice, and yeah, and add another and another. That will complete and give you the form ready. Supplementary and travels. Now, mostly you can see the fillings are not that much of tight. It's pretty straightforward. Same thing with your supplementary information, like where did you travel, like how did you came to Canada. This still includes native language if names particularly, like these ones, but you don't need to do that over the trip. So you're gonna go with trip number 1. Oh, sorry. So you're gonna go with the trip number 1, then add another and another. Now what I would do is I would it didn't ask you to put the Canada on first or second, on the recent or oldest. It didn't really mention that. So what I would do is I would still put the Canada over here and left the 2 blank. Now the purpose of getting or traveling to Canada would be seeking asylum, and that's it. Oh, okay, whatever. So, and then we're gonna, if the other countries would be transit or like humanitarian, whatever. So it depends on the purpose of your travel to get to Canada. And that repeats to your spouse and children if they had any travel or not. Which if not, so you could just leave none or not applicable. But if they did travel, so you need to fill up the form. These are pretty straightforward. You just need to check in the review a lot to get really the crispy details on it. Make sure to not really hurry and give a lot of time and put a lot of time to really review and make sure the forms are crispy and really tight and no errors left behind. That's the point, right? To leave no errors behind, because it is super important for you and for them. Once you're done with these all, and then of course there's additional form. I told the military one, so that's the details of military. You're gonna upload over here the detailed service, and then we're gonna go the photo as well. The photo, the back of the photo is important. So in here, the photo guideline is provided. So from residence photo. So where are you now? So I'm gonna say where are you? I'm gonna online. So you can of course apply PR through paper as well, like mailing them. Print specification. So mostly if you go to a photography, they will take the photo and they will give you the photo you want it digitally, which is fine. And they know how to do it. But in here, if you have a photo, it'll be like there are some certain information you need to verify before getting out of the store, that on the back of the photo, your name and date of birth is mentioned, and the photo was taken, and the complete address or stamp of the photo studio, and a receipt. So you need to have all this, right? If you scanned it, a professional photo, so it would be still those information: your name, the stamp, the address, the time of photo taken, and your date of birth, and all of that. And that's the policy. If it's digitally, so you need to upload photo 1 with this strategy naming, photo 1 the front photo, then -2 the back of the photo. That would be how you can organize it. And we have no additional supporting document. If you do have the travel document, and then we have proof of education, and then there would be refugee determination, proof of status, or status, it'll give you that. So, and marriage certificate, if you have that one. So in here you can apply or upload your brown paper or refugee protected claiming document, and your work permit. In here you can upload your notice of decisions and proof of education and travel document and marriage and national ID as well. Now make sure to follow the format of naming, okay? That would be the best way. And here's another, like Wong Jong Proof of Education number 1. You would repeat over and over. Make sure it's PDF. PDF is much better than JPEG or PNG, but they are still acceptable over here. And lastly, proof of payment. Pay a receipt of payment. You're going to click on pay the fee. And then you're going to say selection of your application. We're going to say permanent residency. In here, we're going to say no. I think I believe, and I found out that no would be the best choice. And then you're going to say in protected person over here. And you're going to say how many applicant you are. You're going to say 1. If you have a spouse, you're going to say yes. If not, just leave it blank. If you have a dependent child. Now, if you have a family of 2 or more, you would type it over here because it's much cheaper, the biometric. But if you're just one individual, like 2 people, you would write it over here. Although this is cheaper if per family of 2, like if you and your spouse, you could still this is much cheaper, I believe. So you're gonna submit, and then basically you're gonna log in and pay. And now this is a different account since you don't have an account. You're gonna register. The registration is pretty straightforward. Just give the email address and give the recovery key message and all of that, and then you will be able to pay. Which I won't go through this because the video is getting too long. Now this is it mostly, and I think there isn't anything left. So if you had any question, let me in the comment before applying. Now once you done this, they will email you a few weeks a GC key number, and that comes in play with GC key login. I just typed GC key login. With GC key login right over here, you can open an account, you can sign up an account, and then from here you will be able to link your permanent residency in your GC account to track down like what steps have been taken, what is the progress they've made. These things can be really tracked down with GC key. I believe you can do it this way. This is something not you can go through it. It's easy. Just log in, and then at the bottom there will be says link. If it was necessary, I will be creating another video to help you out, but let me know. I will put a description on it on the comments so you can read it and find it out. I think that's it. I'm taking too much of your time. I hope you found this useful, and let me know if you had any question. Thanks for watching for this video, and I hope you found this very helpful. And let me know what you think, and let me know if you had any questions. So we will be so happy to answer your questions right in the comment, and that would be really good to help you out on this really matter. See you in the next video.